Hello students, here Imali Shah. Today we are going to learn about the decision making in Java. So next, what do you mean by the decision making in Java? So decision making in programming is similar to the decision making in real time. In programming also we faced some situations where we want to certain blocks of the code to be executed when some condition is fulfilled. Means what? That will be a condition. If condition is fulfilled, then the code of a block is executed. Next, selection statements. Here some of the selection statements are there. If else, nested if else if, switch case and jump. Jump statement contains a break, continue and return. So next, let's see about the if statement. If statement is the most simple decision making statement. That means that is used to decide whether a certain statement or block statement will be executed or not. That means that will be check the condition, and if it is true or if it is fulfilled, then block of code that is executed. Let's see about the syntax of if statement. If, then condition, then statements to execute if condition is true. So this is about the syntax. Now let's see the flowchart of if statement. So what happened actually, the test expression, that means the condition is checked. If it is true, then body of code that is executed. If it is false, then that is quit from the block. So this is about the flowchart of if statement. Next, let's see the example of if statement. First, class name, then we have taken the public static void main, string argues, integer I and j, have defined the values 10 and 5 respectively. So now that is a condition. If I greater than j. If I greater than j, then system.out.println I is maximum. So here 10 greater than 5. Yes, that is the true condition, right? Or condition is fulfilled. So block of code executed. So I is maximum, that will be print. So our output is I is maximum. Next, if else statement. If else statement, that means what? That is used to when the condition is true or not. First condition verifies. If that is true, then statement is executed, otherwise else statement is executed. So in syntax we see if condition is fulfilled, then this block of code is executed, otherwise this block of code is executed. Means if condition is true, then this statement is printed, otherwise this statement will be print. Okay, next, this is the flowchart of if else statement. First, the condition is checked. If it is true, then body of this statement that will be executed, otherwise the next body of code that will be executed. So this is about the if else statement. Now we will see the example. See, example, we have given the value of I and j, same as the if statement. Here the condition is there. If I greater than j, system.out.println I is smaller than j, else system.out.println I is greater than j. That means what? The condition is fulfilled, then I is smaller than j, otherwise I is greater than j. So we have given the value I equal to 10 and j equal to 5. So 10 less than 5, 10 less than 5, 10 less than 5, system dot out dot println I is smaller than j. No, then 10 less than not 5. So this statement is not executed. The else statement that will be executed. So our result is I is greater than j. Next, nested if statement. A nested if statement, that is a if statement, that is a target of another if or else. That means we can say the if statement inside the if statement. Yes, Java allows us to nested if statement within the if statement. So this is the syntax of nested if statement. Syntax: if condition 1, then execute when the condition 1 is true. Otherwise, if condition true, then execute whether the condition 2 is true. So this is about the syntax. First condition 1 verifies, then next condition 2 verifies. If this fulfill, then that will be going in the next part. So this is about the nested if. Let's see the example of nested if. Before going to example, we have to check it out the flow chart. Nested if statement flow chart. If condition is true, then next condition is will be checked, and that will be true, then body of nested if that is executed. Otherwise, next body of nested else that will be executed. So this is about the nested if statement. Next, the example. So we have taken the value of I, that is a 10. If I equal to 10, then next condition that will be checked. If I less than 15, then system.out.println I is smaller than 15. Next, the nested if, the next statement, if I less than 12, then system.out.println I is smaller than 12 too. Otherwise, that will be printed like I is greater than 15. So be simple. If we have taken the value of I, that is the 10. If it is 10, then that will be, check it out the next condition, 10 less than 15. Yes. So I is smaller than 15. Then this condition is also fulfilled, right? So that will be, check it out for the next condition, that is the I less than 12 also. So yes, I is smaller than 12 also. So this statement also will be executed. So like I smaller than 15, I smaller than 12 too. For example, we have taken the value of I, that is the 17. So I equal to 10. No, the first condition is not fulfilled, so that will be goes out the else part. That is the I is greater than 15. So our result will be I greater than 15. Understood? So next, if else if, we can say later if else. So the if statements are executed from the top down. As soon as the one of the condition controlling the if it is true, then statement associated that if statement is executed, and rest of later is bypassed. If none of condition is true, then the final else statement will be executed. So next, if else if later statement. Syntax. So if condition then fulfilled, then this statement is executed. Otherwise, that will be checked next condition, and so on. If these conditions are not fulfilled, then else statement that will be print. Next, the flowchart of if else if later statement. So what happened in this if else if later? So first the condition that will be checked, If it is true, then statement 1 that will be print. Otherwise, next condition will be checked. If it is true, then statement true will be printed. Otherwise, it will be false, then next condition, and so on condition that will be checked. If this all condition are false, then default statement, or we can say the else statement, that will be print. Next, let's see the example of if-else-if ladder statement. So here the public static void mean integer I equal to 20 and j equal to 5, k equal to 9. So if I greater than j and I greater than k, and that is the logical AND state condition, right? So if I greater than j and I greater than k, then I is max. Otherwise j greater than I, here the small I consider, j greater than I and j greater than k, then system.out.println j is max. If these conditions are not fulfilled, then that will be print like a k is max. So here we have to give the value of I, that is 20, j equal to 5 and k equal to 9. So 20 greater than 5 and then 20 greater than 9. So both conditions are true, then that will be print I is max. Suppose we have considered the value of I, j, k 1, 2, 3 respectively. Then what happened? So 1 greater than 2 and then 1 greater than 3. No, this condition is not fulfilled. So that will be checked the next condition, that is the j greater than, so 2 greater than 1 and then 2 greater than 3. No, this condition is also not fulfilled. So that will be goes in the as part, that is the system.out.println k is max, right? So 3 is maximum from 1 to 3. So this is about the if-else-if ladder statement. Next, switch case statement. Switch case statement is a multi-way branch statement, we can say. It provides an easy way to dispatch the execution of different parts of the code based on the value of expression. So how we can implement the switch case statement, let's see. This is the syntax about the switch case statement. First, you have to write down the switch, that is the keyword we have to use, and then expression, then case value 1, case value 2, and usually the statement 1, that will be. Why we are using the break statement here? Most important thing is that why we are using the break statement. If we are not using this break statement, then it is possible to go down in the infinite loop. So that's why we have to break the condition. Like first case is checked, right? Condition is checked. If it is not true, then we have to goes into the next case, right? So that's why we have to use the break, right? If this all case are not fulfilled, then default statement that will be print. So this is the syntax about the switch case statement. Let's see the flowchart of switch case statement. So first the condition that will be checked, and following the case conditions are checked. If these are true, then statements respectively the statements are printed. Otherwise the default statement that will be print. Next, let's see the example. The public static void main string argues I equal to 9. So here the value of I that is considered as 9. So case 0, that will be 0, 1 and 2. We have taken the three cases 0, 1 and 2. If that will be 0, then it is printed like it is 0. I is 0. 1, then I is 1. 2, then I is 2. But we have taken the value of I that is a 9. So this case are not fulfilled the condition, right? So default statement that will be print enter the proper number. Or we can also write that like that the I is greater than 2, right? So in this case the output that will be enter the proper number. So next, jump statement. As we discussed, the jump statement contains the three part: break, continue and return. So break statement in Java, break is majorly used to terminate a sequence of switch case statement. As we discussed, why we are using the break? To exit the loop, otherwise it will be goes into the infinite loop. So this is the most important thing, why we are using the break statement in the switch case statement. That is also used as a civilized for the go to statement, and using the break to exit the loop also. So using break we can force the immediately to terminate the loop and bypass the condition expression and any remaining code in the body of the loop. So next, about the flowchart of break statement. First we have to check the condition, or we can say the test expression of loop. If it is break, if it is true then break, and break then that will be, if it is yes then statement is print, otherwise the remaining body of the loop that will be goes down the next condition. Now let's see the example of break statement. Here we have taken the value of I, that is a 0 to 10, and terminate the loop when that is a 5. So we have writing here the if I equal to 5 then break. So what happened? The first condition 0 less than 10, yes, so that will be print I, so 0. Next for the 1, 2 less than 10, yes, the next value that will be true, then I plus plus that will be 3, 4, 5, but whenever the 5 comes, if I equal to 5 then break statement is executed. So we will get the output loop completed. So ultimately break statement is used to exit the loop. Next, continue statement. So continue, sometimes it is useful to force an early iteration of loop. That is, you might be want to continue the running the loop but stop the processing of the remainder of the code in its body for the particular iteration. Then this is an effect to go to just past of the body of the loop and to the loop's end. So continue statement performs such an action like this. So this is about the continue statement flowchart. We have to check the condition. If it is true, then that will be continue statement that will be executed. If it is yes, then that will be again goes into the loop. If it is not, then remaining body of the loop that will be printed. If condition is not true, then already the statement just below the loop that will be executed. So let's see the example of the continue statement. Here the conditions are there: I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So if the number is even, then skip and continue. So we have taken the I modulo 2, that will be 0, then continue. We have to consider if the number is even, then skip and continue. So we have to not take in the value even value. Okay, so we have to print the 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So 0, 0 modulo 0, that will be not print, but 1 modulo 2, 1 modulo 2 not is equal to 0, then continue, that will be print 1. Next 2 modulo 2 equal to 0, yes, then will be continue, so that will be not print. So next 3 modulo 2, that is not equal to 0, then 3, that will be print. 4 modulo 2 equal to 0, then that will be not continue. The next that will be skip, we can say. Then 5 modulo 2, that is not equal to 0, then that will be print the value 5. 6 modulo 2 equal to 0, then that will be skipped. The 7 modulo 2, that is not equal to 0, then that will be print. And 8 modulo 2 equal to 0, then that will be skip and continue. Then 9 modulo 2 is not is equal to 0, then that will be print. And 10 modulo 2 equal to 0, then that will be skip and continue. So this is about the continue statement. Let's see the return statement. Return statement is used to explicitly return from the method. That is cause a program control to transfer back to the caller to the method. This is the most important thing about the return, the transfer back to the caller of the method. Let's see the example of return statement. So we have taken the boolean t equal to true, then before the return. If condition t is there, then return. Compiler will be bypass the every statement after the return. So this won't not be executed. So now the t equal to true. So system.out.println before the return. So that will be print like a before a return. If t, then return. Yes, that will be not fulfilled, then this won't be executed, that will be print. So this is about the return statement. So hope you like this video. Thank you.